What are the DOMs? Seller is a RIA, ELFs included. All ELFs included. No wonder people get confused when they start navigating listings or talking to a realtor. It's like we're speaking a different language sometimes. Like all industries, realtors and property managers, they have their own jargon. And today is going to be a bit of a crash course on some of those essential terminologies you should be keeping up with when you start your buying process or when you're getting ready to list. If you like the video, I'd really appreciate you giving me a thumbs up down below. And if you want more stuff like this, feel free to subscribe. I try to upload something every single week. So I'm trying to break this down into two parts essentially. Terms that you're likely to come across when you are looking at listings and terms and phrases that will be on those listings. And the second part is going to be terms and phrases that you're likely to come across when you are going to put an offer in on a property. Let's rewind to some of those ones that I just said at the top of the video. DOMs. What are DOMs? D-O-M, days on market. That's how long a listing has been sitting on the market, active or conditionally. So this is an important stat to look at because the longer a property's been sitting on the market, the more leverage you might have as a buyer to submit an offer on that property. Seller is a RIA, R-R-E-A. That means that the seller is a registered real estate agent. A realtor has to disclose if they are selling a property or have an investment in the property in some regard. So this is just that disclosure. All ELFs are included. I remember when I first got into the business, this one really threw me for a loop until I realized that it stands for electronic light fixture. The list price is going to be the price that the property is offered at. It's what you'll see on the listing document itself, as opposed to the sold price, which is a much more relevant statistic if you are trying to sell your property and get an idea of the market value of your property. But the list price is going to be what it's offered at. The sold price, a very different number, is going to be what the property actually ends up selling for at the end of the day. What is the difference between a sales representative and a broker? Essentially education. That's about it. A broker has gone a little bit further to take more courses and become a bit more educated, specifically on the side of what it takes to actually open and manage and maintain a brokerage. So if you have your broker designation, you are able to open your own brokerage or manage offices as opposed to a sales representative who is only able to trade in real estate. And the last one that I see it'll be on every listing that you see in Ontario is going to be UFI. UFI is a urea formaldehyde foam insulation. Now, Canadian homes were insulated with this foam insulation in the late 70s. For the most part, this insulation was injected into the walls, and shortly after this very common practice occurred, about 100,000 homes in Canada were injected with this stuff. In 1980, it came out that there may be health side effects to the gas emitted by that insulation. So now there's a disclosure in every offer you see and every listing if there is UFI on the property or in the walls. Now we're gonna transition over to terms you're gonna see in the offer side of this. Now, obviously there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of documentation to go through. That's why it's always good to use a realtor to help you navigate that kind of stuff in the whole agreement process. But these are a couple of the terms that I hear a lot of questions about. One of the first ones we hear a lot in the news is a bully offer. And what is a bully offer? A bully offer comes into play when you as a seller are holding offers until a specific date with the intention of either maybe your family's going on vacation, you're not able to sit down and look at offers until a specific date for a reason, or strategically you're trying to hold offers to try to get any interest to all combine on one day and maybe end up in a multiple offer situation. A bully or a preemptive offer sort of ignores that date that you've set aside to look at offers, and their goal is to try to entice you with an offer that the buyer thinks is going to be competitive enough for you to not wait until the extra day, but also be a good deal for that buyer. So a bully offer is going to be any preemptive offer that comes in if you are intending and you have advertised that you're holding offers until a specific date. A firm offer is an offer that comes in with no conditions. So no conditions on inspection, finance, or status certificate. As soon as the deposit is dropped off, the agreement is locked in place and you're just waiting for your closing date. The opposite of that is going to be a conditional offer, is something that we're seeing a lot more these days, and that is an offer that may have a contingency for the buyer to back out of a deal given an inability to find appropriate finances or an unsatisfactory inspection. And so these conditional offers are something that's more balanced, and we see a lot more in a balanced market as opposed to firm offers, which we've seen a ton of over the last couple of years, here in our neighborhood at least. The market's not the same everywhere. Another significant part of the offer process is going to be the irrevocable period, identifying how much time you want your offer to be live for. When a buyer sits down to submit an offer, or if a seller counters an offer to another person, there's going to be this irrevocable period. And what that means is that the person issuing that offer is going to give a very specific time frame on how long that offer is going to be active for. I'm not gonna submit an offer on September 1st, 2017 and let you still accept that offer on September 1st of 2019. That's unrealistic. There has to be a time frame where it says, look, this is what I'm willing to give you, but that's not gonna last forever. When you're a buyer and you're preparing your offer, you're going to have to make a decision about how much time you wanna give the sellers to make their decision about what to do with your offer. Usually we see irrevocables anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, but in some markets and depending on your strategies, you might try to shorten that down a lot to 5 or 6 hours. The last two that there seems to be a lot of confusion about are deposits versus down payments. A deposit is essentially earnest money that you're willing as a buyer to offer to the seller to say, look, I'm invested in this property and I'm invested X amount of dollars, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, whatever that may be, to be held by your listing agent and your brokerage. The deposit is just that sum of money that's going to be given in good faith essentially to the sellers to say, look, we're gonna go through with this deal together. The down payment, however, is more related to the loan that you're setting up through your lender. And the down payment is going to be that lump sum base amount that is going to justify the lender giving you the rest of the money on closing. In Ontario, most of the time, that deposit that you put in is going to be utilized as part of that down payment. Now that the weather's cooling down and snow may be coming soon, there is going to be a lot of time for you to be sitting on Realtor.ca and flipping through. Hopefully, an understanding of some of these terms and phrases will help you navigate that a little bit better. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. Really appreciate it. If you want to see another video from me, check up here. If you want to subscribe for more, click down here. See you next week.